Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. Today we are doing the 1000 subscriber special. Well, the first part of it anyway. This is going to be a 4-part series on my channel, which will come out on 4 consecutive days, meaning this is day 1 of 4 upload days for my channel, so hope you all enjoy that. I'm here today to do the Q&A results and answers, along with some future plans for my channel. And then that will be followed up in part 2 with my full PC collection, which I'll show each machine start up, say a quick thing about it, on to the next one. Then I'll be doing the same thing on day 3 with my Mac collection. And then on day 4, I'll do the same thing with my iDevice collection. So that's the plan anyway. And it's a plan that's going to happen because if you're seeing this video, everything's all ready to go, schedule uploaded, done, all that. So today I got my titanium PowerBook here to help me with info on each question. We'll be going through them. We have 5 to look at total. And yeah, let's just get started. So, question 1 comes from the iTunes fanboy. I know you've been watching for a while. The question is, how did you get started with technology? Well, very young. From before I could even read, I was messing around with my parents' old flip phones. Then that was followed up in like late 2011, early 2012, somewhere around then. My parents recognized I was interested in tech and found a $20 laptop on Craigslist, which was actually this right here. If I pull it off the shelf, this is a Dell Latitude C610. It's a 1 gigahertz Pentium 3 system, and this would have been 10 years old at the time. And that introduced me to the world of Windows XP and Microsoft Office and that kind of thing. And I remember liking it a lot. But then something happens. It breaks after not even, I think it was a few months. I don't quite remember. It's been so long. But it stopped turning on. And that led me to that was honestly the best thing that could have happened to it, because it led me to trying to fix a computer for the first time. My grandfather, we were at my grandparents' house, and they're both quite tech savvy, especially him. And he helped me take it apart to look for anything that was broken. And we didn't find anything, unfortunately. But then after that, we figured out the charger had broken. He did some tests on it. I don't remember quite what. Probably tested the voltage output. And I got a new charger, and I got it running again. That motherboard had other weird issues, though, so I eventually replaced it. But it was my first experience with fixing a computer, and it got me started, and that was awesome. Then after that, by the time we fixed that, I already had an upgrade, which was this right here, which is a Dell Inspiron 6000. That was a big upgrade because it had Wi-Fi and an SD card slot, so I could get pictures off my old digital camera that I used. And it was my first time having internet access. And then after that, I upgraded to this, which I'm not going to bother pulling out, but it's a HP EliteBook 8530P, which was Windows 7. It was amazing. I asked for a Windows 7 computer for Christmas because I wanted an upgrade. The hard drive was failing in the Dell Inspiron, so it was going insanely slow. I didn't know exactly what was up at the time, but that's eventually what I figured out. And I needed an upgrade, and then this guy served me for years. I got this thing Christmas of 2014 and kept using it until 2017 when my dad upgraded off of this, which is a Dell Inspiron 2-in-1, Inspiron 13, model 7348, and this was a massive upgrade. This has a Core i7 5500U, I think. It had a bunch of problems at the time. We eventually got them all fixed, and it's in horrible condition. These do not hold up well. It's an awful computer. I'm not a big fan of this, because it's just not durable at all, and it's had a bajillion issues, but I kept using this until after I got it fixed and mostly working fine besides some sound issues. I used this until 2020 when I bought my current laptop, which is an Asus GL504GV, which is an RTX 2060 like gaming laptop, and that's what I still use today, alongside a Dell Latitude E7470, which is my on-the-go system, since that guy's heavy and the battery's already dead. Anyway, around 2016-ish is when I started really collecting technology. I collected old phones before then, but I started collecting computers at that point, and then something happened, and now there's all this stuff here. And here I am. So if you look back at my first setup tour from 2019, you can really see that a lot of this happened during the pandemic. That's when this all really blew up, because it's amazing. I am really proud of what I've been able to get here, and I love my collection. It's a lot of fun. I'm very happy with where it is at this point. Anyways, I've talked way too long. Question 2. What made you interested in older technology specifically? This one comes from Ray with 2 Ys. And so it started, I think, with the fact that I was always using last decade's tech, because my first phones that I just messed around with were old flip phones. Let me go get one, actually. I still have them. Yeah, here's one. We got the Samsung flip phone, the pink Samsung flip phone, and the silver Samsung flip phone, which has really seen better days. Yeah, that'll still work though, funny enough. Anyway, so that's how I started with that. My first computer was a decade old and had Windows XP on it, and then I remember once I had a newer computer that had internet access, I was like looking up info about the C610, and I found this other Dell laptop called the CPI. And when I looked, I was like, okay, that's a funny sounding model number. That's all letters, no numbers. What is this? Something like that. I don't quite remember. And I looked it up and found that it was even older. And then I was like, whoa, what is the older stuff like? And then I sort of just explored that more. When I started watching YouTube stuff, I found more old tech and got really into retro tech content. I remember the 8-Bit Guy was one of the first channels I watched. I remember his Mac SE restoration video was one of the first times I saw like an old computer, like really, really old, get fixed, and I really liked that kind of video, and I was like, it would be cool to have this kind of stuff, and I slowly got into it over time. And eventually now, I don't even think you can see them. Now I actually have not 1, but 2 Latitude CPIs, which is what got this whole thing started, arguably. And yeah, that's most the reason why I bought these, because, well, they're important to me. Anyway, that should answer that. So it sort of just happened, out of circumstance, that kind of thing. Alright, question 3 also comes from Ray with 2 Ys. Favorite old system and why? Okay, so here's the thing. I can't pick one. I really can't, so I'm just going to go through a few rapid fire here. I'm going to put this guy aside again. Okay, Mac. PowerBook 100. Love this thing because it is compact for the time, lightweight, easy for the time, easy to take around because the hinge is tough on this and doesn't break. PowerBook 170, which is this one. I love its active matrix screen, super high quality. 540C. I love the design of the 500 series PowerBooks. This one needs a good bit of work, but I really like it. It has a beautiful color screen, and it's pretty fast too. What else did I put? Yeah, of course, I wrote 3400D. That's a typo. I mean the 3400C, which is my favorite of these gray ones, because these are just great to use, and I have one that I'm lucky enough to have 5 working battery packs now, and so I can take this thing on the go for a long time. It's really fast for a system of its time. It can do a lot of stuff. Newer Macs, well, the Tybook. I love the PowerBook G4 Titanium. Really, really one of my favorites. Oh, it's coming unplugged. Don't do that. Charger's loose. And then my 17-inch dual-layer SuperDrive G4, favorite OS X laptop, period. And then an honorable mention has to go out to this guy, which is an early 2008 15-inch MacBook Pro. It was my first Mac. It was at the time and still one of my favorite Mac laptop designs, and it was like the best one of that kind of design. And so I wanted one, and I chose that as my first Mac back in 2017. They have notoriously unreliable graphics chips, yet this one still works. The first year of uploads on my channel were all edited off this because I didn't know any good Windows video editing software. So I used this for 1080p video, and it never broke. It was all booted and running off a USB 2 speed external hard drive. What was I thinking? I don't know, but it always worked. Slowly, but worked. Oh boy. On the PC side of things, one of my newer additions that I've really come to like is this ThinkPad, which is a T30. I'm quite fond of this one. It's Pentium 4, and one of my reasons for liking it so much is because this has got the rare SXGA Plus screen. That's 1400 by 1050, I believe. It looks great under XP and even has driver support for Windows 98. So this one's nice, and I like the design, and it's one of my favorites on the PC side of things. We also got on here the Latitude C610. Even though I've had it the longest, it's still one of my most used XP computers. It's a really solid laptop. And then this guy, which is another ThinkPad. It is the 385 XD. Gigantic, very heavy, and it's the one, well, it's the same as the 380 XD. They just released two similar sounding models that are exactly the same, just sold in different places. So this is the same one that LGR restored back in that video several years ago, and I remember watching that video and being like, I want one of these. And then I found this for free at a garage sale, and it's got an amazing keyboard. It's amazingly designed, really tough, really durable, great hinges. It's definitely one of my favorites. Okay, question 4. I was wondering if you had any plan. Oh yeah, this one comes from Addicted to Classics. I was wondering if you had any plans to do a complete series on tech where you review or compare a whole lineup of old computers or challenge type videos of some of your old tech, i.e. using a titanium PowerBook, hey, for a day, or something like this video is made on insert old computer here. I think it'd be interesting to see that sort of thing. Keep up the great work and congrats on 1,000 subscribers. Well, thank you very much. As for that kind of thing, the stuff you mentioned, like this video is made on this old computer or using this old computer for a day as my main computer, that kind of stuff's been done already by a lot of people. And I don't want to just do videos that other people have already done. But in terms of more review type stuff, scripted, that kind of thing, I have a lot of plans. I'm going to get more into that in the second segment of this video, which is going to be future plans. But to briefly summarize here, I want to do retro review videos on my laptops where I go in detail about the hardware, experience of using it, the design, that kind of thing. And I want to do those scripted, high quality, that kind of thing. Definitely in the planning list. And other stuff too, like I did promise a video comparing the ThinkPad G40 to the Inspiron 9100. I still want to do that at some point, not sure when I have time and when I get around to it, but I have such plans, so I definitely have. That should answer your question pretty well. I want to do scripted stuff. And I already have scripted restoration videos. I've done 2 of those, PowerBook 145 and 100. I definitely want to do more of those videos with repair and stuff like that. That's one of my favorite types of stuff to make. All right, question 5, which is our final question here, will be from Python Studios. My question is, what sort of 90s PC would you recommend for making retro 3D art with Bryce 3D? Like, what sort of PC did graphics designers back then use? I'm afraid I'm not too knowledgeable. I hadn't actually heard of that piece of software before you mentioned it. I did look into it. It appears that there are several versions of it all throughout the 90s and still up to today, I think, or I'm not sure. But definitely several versions throughout the 90s. So it's really going to depend on what version of the software you want to use. In general, graphic design stuff required very high-end systems. So if you're looking for a Mac, I did check and there was a Mac version, you're going to want something like a high-end Power Mac, or perhaps even something like the 3400 PowerBook if you want to run, like, I saw a version from 1997. So you're going to want something like a 3400 or a G3, or if you're looking for a desktop, something like a Power Mac 9600 or a G3 Mini Tower, or any sort of high-end workstation class thing, because you're going to need a lot of performance to do 3D, especially back in the 90s. On the PC end of things, I'm not sure if the program requires like 3D acceleration. If it does, you want to be looking for something like a Pentium 2 or a Pentium 3, assuming a late 90s version of the software, with something like a 3D accelerated, like 3D Effects Voodoo card, or ATI or early NVIDIA thing. But you're going to need something with, if you're looking at the later half of the 90s, probably something with 3D acceleration, and in the earlier half, just something high-end. So again, I don't know the specific requirements of that software, but that's just in general from what I know about graphic designers and stuff like that. I know the Mac was hugely popular, especially in the early 90s, for that sort of thing. So you just said 90s, so it's a wide range, but hopefully that should help. Anyways, that's all the questions. Thank you very much for all of your questions, and I think I've done my best to answer them well. Now let's go on to talk about future plans for the channel. And yes, this is going to be quite a long video, so this is for the people that really want to know what's up and what's going on and that sort of thing. It's not for the YouTube algorithm to push out as concise and that sort of thing. So yeah, let's get into that. All right. So I got 3 talking points here for future plans. The first is a new series I want to start. I'm not sure exactly when, but soon. And that is going to be, the current title is Retro Review. Basically, I want to take an old laptop. Say this guy here, which I actually did a video on in 2020. That was a design overview. Only time I've done one of those. iBook G3, 12-inch. Basically, in this series, I'd talk about the design, okay, here's its battery, and here's its different ports and stuff. It's made out of this material. It feels high quality, low quality, whatever. Talk about how good the keyboard is, screen, trackpad, that sort of thing. Talk about specs, capabilities, what software it runs, any major issues that these have reliability-wise, because that's something really important to touch on in vintage computer stuff, and that sort of thing. So I want to do that eventually with all of these, but that'll probably never happen, so let's just start with one of these I wanted to do one on. Now, you see, I was planning on starting that real soon with this guy. This is a Winbook, which is a sub-brand of Micro Center. They made a bunch of laptops back in the day, and this is their very first one, the 486 SLC. To my knowledge, it has never been seen before in a YouTube video until today, and I was planning on making its great YouTube debut with a retro review video. I bought it working. I got it out of the box. I wasn't going to make an unboxing type testing out video on it. I was just going to save it all for the review, and then it immediately broke. And now it has a bunch of issues, and I need to fix its keyboard ribbon and all this stuff, and I don't even know if I'm going to do it, but it needs to be recapped as well, and all this stuff that I wasn't expecting. I was kind of expecting a screen recap, but no, the screen doesn't have any caps. It's the DC board. I think they're just caps going weak on it. It's complicated. Anyway, it needs a bunch of unexpected work, so that might be a while now, but hopefully I'll get there. So that's my plan for that. Second is something that I've sort of already been doing without really mentioning for a while now, but I just wanted to bring it out here and announce it. I am phasing out jailbreak videos slowly here. So you may have noticed the volume has gone way down over the past year or so as to where it was before. And that's for two reasons. The first is I'm sort of running out of stuff to do. The whole idea was I do all the jailbreak tutorials that are updated and up to date and all that because there were no good up to date tutorials. And now there are for most of the iOS versions. I still gotta do one for iOS 10, but and any other obscure version I managed to get my hands on randomly. Like the iOS 9.3.3 64-bit tutorial that I randomly did because I got, or an iOS 9.2 or something for 64-bit devices, which is not a common version, but I got an iPhone 5S on 9.2, so I made a video on it. Anyway, so now that I've done all those, I have much fewer ideas. Still a couple. I want to do a video on iOS 6 jailbreak tweaks and all my stuff that I have on my iPhone 5 that's dual booted and that kind of thing. But I'm running out of tutorials to do, and my interest in it is also waning. Back when I started doing jailbreak videos, I was daily driving, you can't see it, but my old iPhone 7 Plus, I was daily driving it jailbroken on iOS 13, and it was the best. I was having so much fun. Every day I'd look for new tweaks. It was something that I was really big into. And now jailbreaking is dying because Apple's security has gotten way too good. And there's barely anything coming out in the new term, which is what was keeping me excited about the old stuff too. And I just haven't been doing as much. Vintage computers, I'm always using one, guaranteed. Every day I'll have gotten at least one out and turned it on and done something on it. With my old phones, it's different. I'll get a bunch out every couple months and use them for a couple weeks and then lose interest for a while. And that's all together created a situation where I'm not really as enthusiastic about jailbreak videos anymore. Now I'm way more enthusiastic about these old computer stuff, and I've been doing a lot of that, and some of those videos have done really well, and I want to keep doing that and transition my channel to mainly exclusively that. This isn't the announcement that jailbreak videos are dead on my channel. I still have more I want to make. iOS 10 jailbreak tutorial, iOS 6 jailbreak tweaks, possibly other stuff, but the short-lived days of Tweak Showcase are gone, and the days of every other video being a jailbreak-related video are gone as well. It's going to be one every few months now. That's the plan, but they're not gone, and I still want to make more of them, and I've seen a lot of people who came for the jailbreak stuff stay for the retro tech stuff, and so I'm not too worried about that sort of thing with viewership. And in the end, I want to do on this channel, which is really small and that sort of thing, I want to do what I want to do on it, what is going to interest me and keep me making videos. And part of that is I'm trying to make way more videos this year. I'm trying to upload weekly. I'm really pushing for it. I'm not going to make it this week, I don't think, because I want my next uploads to be this special, and I'm recording this, I don't have my watch on, and the time on this tie book is wrong. I'm recording this on the Sunday of the week before this is due to go live, I think, which is one of the days. Anyway, I'm gonna miss an upload this week is the point, but I've been for the past few weeks doing weekly uploads, and I want to keep that going because I'm really pushing to grow my channel this year. And anyways, I'm rambling on and on. Let's talk about my final talking point, which is going to be monetization. Hitting 1,000 subscribers means that I, along with some other requirements which I had hit a while back, mean that I can now apply for the YouTube Partner Program. This means that I can now start earning a very, very tiny amount of ad revenue on my videos. This isn't going to change anything for you guys because Google already puts a bunch of ads on my videos to make more money for them. The only difference is now I'm going to make a little bit of money off those ads. Probably a few dollars a month because I don't get that many views compared to the people who are doing this for a living. But those few dollars a month and the growth of those few dollars a month, I think, will really motivate me to make more videos, work harder on improving the videos and that sort of stuff. And it's always something exciting because, well, I don't think it's going to happen. It would be awesome if I could do this full time. It would be amazing if I could do that, but I don't think that's going to happen, but it'll be a motivator anyway. So that's the idea anyway. So that's all I gotta say about that. And yeah, well, of course, a thank you to all you guys who have subscribed and congratulated me and all that stuff. You're all the reason I'm here, and I'm very grateful for everyone who watches my videos and looks forward to them, and I hope I can bring more of them to you guys this year. So, that's all. Close my tie book, and we're done. So, thank you all for watching. Tune back in tomorrow if you want to see my PC collection, and the day after that for my Mac collection, and the day after that for my iDevices. And yeah, that's all I gotta say. Here's to the next 1,000. Have a good day.